When my buddy Tariq realized he was dead, he took it quite hard. "Oh crap, I'm dead," he said, then climbed off the mortuary slab and slumped off home to his bedroom to start gaming. Tariq's is a tale of unrequited love, a broken heart, and tragedy. After his advances towards the popular girl in our class called Brenda was scorned, as everybody's are, she just loves herself, the lovelorn idiot jumped in front of a train. His body was dutifully scraped off the track and whisked off to the morgue. There, to the astonishment of the mortuary staff, the various component parts of the mangled corpse started dragging themselves back together again. Once the process was complete, my maniacally depressed buddy sat up, looked at his tattered body, said the curse words, then slumped off home to the gasps of the horrified staff. They quite rightly called in the police, who in turn called in the army, who then brought in a special forces SWAT team, and just for good measure, 2 priests, a freelance exorcist, and a profiling criminal psychologist. They just wanted to cover every base before going round to Tariq's place to bring the boy in. All this proved unnecessary. When the combined forces, fully kitted out with body armor, stun grenades, and tasers, nervously knocked on Tariq's parents' front door, his mum took one look at them, then yelled up the stairs,
"Tariq! Is your buddies for you? Are you going out?"
The poor boy was then dragged from the house and taken to a high-security hospital for experiments. There, extensive medical examination concluded he was definitely undead. Their tests also concluded that Tariq's condition was the result of him taking a designer pill called zeta-amphetamyl polyphenol, or ZAP to the likes of us. ZAP was all the rage at school for a very short period. It enabled the user to stay awake for 48 hours at a time and help the brain soak up information, a real blessing for someone like me, studying every waking minute for school exams while at the same time studying for a distance learning accountancy qualification. I was exhausted. That's why I popped it. It was the in thing only for the briefest of time because it had a nasty side effect. You know, the zombie thing. Had Tariq not topped himself soon after taking it, the shocking side effect would never have been discovered. The cops discreetly questioned everyone at the school and discovered quite a number of people had been taking it. 23 students, 4 teachers, 2 cleaners, and a dinner lady. In total, the damage was limited to just 30 souls. However, this created a problem. Tariq notwithstanding, all of them were still very much alive. All except one. Me. I'm Ben, by the way, and let me tell you straight away, being a zombie sucks. It's not the direction I want my life to go in. No siree, Bob. I've set my heart on becoming a chartered accountant, like my dad. Becoming undead was all my own stupid fault. No one else to blame. Well, perhaps the lunatic in the 6th form that had invented ZAP. Anyway, back to the aftermath of Tariq's undeath. To avoid panic, the authorities said nothing about the ghastly side effects of ZAP and quietly removed all evidence of its existence. They decided on a policy of watch and wait for those that had taken it. They were in the early stages of organizing surveillance on the users, but hadn't gotten round to me before I became death number 2. This is how it happened. One morning, a few weeks ago, I was late for school. I was in the kitchen, still wringing wet from the shower, and toasting a Pop-Tart for my breakfast. The sucker got stuck, so obviously I tried to prise it out with a fork. It was a dumb thing to do, I know, but I was in a hurry. Sudden death from electric shock was bad enough, but worse was to follow. For a start, I had no idea I was dead. There were no outward signs of my demise other than going off the idea of the Pop-Tart due to developing a craving for something more brainy. Also, because I was late for school, I never checked myself in the mirror before leaving the house. This was a mistake. The telltale symptoms of being a zombie had already developed, and I'm almost positive I'd have noticed my eyes were white and my grey skin was starting to peel away in strips. Knowing I was deceased would also have helped explain the strange looks I was getting at the bus stop, and the fact that everybody, including the driver, rushed off the bus screaming when I got on. Great, now I have to walk to school, I thought. For some reason, my slouching speed was slower than usual. I felt as if my feet were dragging along the pavement. I noticed the streets that morning were surprisingly empty. I glanced at the clock above the pharmacy. I was going to be very late. I knew I'd get detention anyway, so I decided to go the long way to school, through the shopping precinct. Hung for a sheep as a lamb, I thought, but it was another bad choice. It was Friday morning, and the precinct was busy. As I dragged myself into the main arcade, panic broke out. Slowly at first, just the odd scream, then followed by a mass exodus in the opposite direction to me, screams galore. Whatever is frightening these people isn't going to get me, I thought, so I decided to skedaddle as well. I set off at maximum slouch, a speed nowhere as fast as the fleeing crowd, with the exception of one old grunter on crutches. I drew alongside the terror-stricken old wrinkly, frantically crutching along as fast as he could, but failing to put any distance between himself and me. "What the heck are we running from?" I panted out.
You stupid moron!"
Gasped the oldie. I was confused. Me? I slouched to a halt, just opposite Walmart, and turned to look at my reflection in the window. Oh, crap, I thought. Oh man, Brenda is never going to go out with me now. I've read enough zombie books to know I was in deep trouble. Why? Because none of the books I've read contain stories about young zombies getting their certificate of finance and accounting, then going on to join the Institute of Chartered Accountants. They did, however, contain stories about zombies having their heads caved in. I needed to slouch double quick and find somewhere safe to hide. Weeks later, and I'm still on the run. Despite all the efforts of the forces of law and order, I've managed to evade detection. I found sanctuary in the dark corners of the local funeral parlor. It was a stroke of luck that the manager had left the back door open after dark on the day I undied. I hid in a coffin in the stockroom for the rest of the day, overnight, and all the next day. Things have now sort of lapsed into a routine. I hide in the coffins by day and slouch around by night. It's working out okay. After it closes up, I have the place to myself. It's warm, dry, and there's plenty to eat. The staff there are so dumb, they never noticed that the corpses left in the building overnight are a brain or two short in the morning. Also, when they've all gone, I can access the internet from their computers. Awesome! With so much spare time now, I'm bang up to date with my accountancy course. Maybe being a zombie won't be so bad after all. Ben didn't let a little dying get in the way of his career. What would you do if you found out you're a zombie?